This is the team that was used by Nils Dunlop to win the Lille Regional. We see, again, Coaching Sneasler. I just made a video with a Coaching Sneasler that won a regional, and in the time between recording that and it going public, Coaching Sneasler won another one. But it has a very different set of teammates this time, and one that I'm actually pretty excited about trying out here. We see a familiar face, of course, in the Assault Vest Tyranitar. I've been using a set like this, well, as far as the open team sheet goes, I've been using this exact set in online tournaments lately. Paired with its old friend Excadrill. I've talked a lot about how I like the Tyranitar Excadrill pairing. I also used them in an online tournament together recently. It's a duo that was on my favorite team back in early Sword and Shield, and one that I've been wanting to try out in Scarlet and Violet, even though I didn't expect them to be as good as before. But apparently they're still pretty good, because they just won a regional together, and we'll definitely have to see what they can do here together again. The Excadrill with a Focus Sash Sword Stance set, Terra Ground, capable of hitting very hard, and clearly just here to bring the offense. And of course, both Excadrill and Tyranitar are pretty reasonable coaching recipients from the Sneasler. Also a ton of speed already on this team, with the Excadrill having Sand Rush to double speed and sand, and the Sneasler having White Herb Unburden, so it'll activate Unburden whenever it takes any kind of stat drop, which is good news for it, because you notice this one does not have Protect. Then we have the Corviknight, which is another excellent coaching recipient and is really well set up for it. Mirror Armor, for one thing, brings a lot of support to this team, being able to bounce back intimidates that might try to target not only Corviknight, but also any of the teammates I've already mentioned, Excadrill, Tyranitar, or Sneasler. But then the Corviknight also running Bulk Up and Power Trip. Power Trip, of course, is a Dark-type attack that functions like stored power, so it scales up in base power for every stat boost the Pokemon has. And this Corviknight has a ton of boosts available to it with its natural bulk and strong defensive typing, combined not only with Bulk Up, but also the Coaching Sneasler, and also the Psychic Seed, which can boost its special defense if I bring it with the Choice Scarf, Male Indeedee, Terra Psychic, Expanding Force, here to do a ton of spread Psychic type damage, of course setting its own terrain and hitting harder than the female, so there's not really any other size spam component to this team, but the Indeedee alone should be able to put in a lot of work, and then it also gives a Mirror Armor boost to Corviknight. And it brings some more speed with the Choice Scarf. Side note, I've seen people calling this a size spam team. Let me know in the comments if you think that it can really be called that. I always, I guess the term size spam has come to refer to just getting a lot of Psychic type damage using Expanding Force in Psychic terrain. To me, I always thought that of a size spam team as a team that does that, but has more than one Psychic type involved in that mode. So something like a female Indeedee and Hatterene, female Indeedee Armarouge, Indeedee Delphox. That's what I think of as a size spam team. You can even throw in a Gallade in some of those compositions. So I wouldn't have thought myself to call this size spam when it only has one Psychic type. But yeah, let me know what you think the term means and whether this matches your idea of a size spam team. Anyway, the one Pokemon I haven't talked about yet is the Magmar, being a pretty solid support piece here. This team has a ton of speed and offense, like I've talked about, and a decent amount of setup as well. So having the Magmar available for redirection in tough positions can do a lot to enable it to get off the damage that it needs to win. We also have, I see, Helping Hand on the Magmar, so able to boost his teammates' damage there. If you Helping Hand into like a spread Expanding Force, you're doing or Earthquake, you're doing a ton of damage to both opponents. And Terra Flying on the Magmar means it actually could be paired with Earthquake Excadrill, as can either of the other Terra Flying Pokemon, Sneasler or Tyranitar. So this is a very strong offensive team with a lot of interesting synergies, some of which I've thought about before in this format, and some of which I absolutely have not ever thought of before. But all of them, things that I'm eager to try out here, and haven't really been trying out before now. There are multiple modes that can all put in a ton of work, and what they have in common is they all do a lot of damage. So that should be fun. Enough said about that, except the disclaimer that I unfortunately have to say sometimes that I don't have Nils Dunlop's EVs, so I have made up my own EV spreads that I'm sure are worse than the ones that actually won the regional. But the team still looks very strong, so let's just go. Enough talk, time for action. As we see here, okay, one of these balanced teams that I don't always have the easiest time with. Amoonguss, Kingambit, Incineroar, Alolan, Ninetales, Garchomp, and Talonflame. Okay, so they can turn off my sand. I do like a sand mode into this, I think. There is the Incineroar. But of course, Corviknight and Sneasler can help me cover for that. I don't think I especially like Indeedee in this matchup. They have Tailwind, and they have 2 Dark types. One of which also resists the Terra Blast. I could probably leave Indeedee behind. Stopping Fake Out is kind of nice, but I think I probably want a Corviknight game plan into this team. With Magmar, of course, I can redirect Spore from Amoonguss too, so I could lead Magmar Corviknight or Sneasler Corviknight, I think. Although if I'm bringing those 3, then what's the last Pokemon? I can't bring Tyranitar and Excadrill together if I'm bringing Magmar, Sneasler, Corviknight, but I think I am doing that. I think I'm going to lead Magmar Corviknight. I'll bring Sneasler in the back. And I might actually just bring Indeedee. No, Focus Sash Excadrill can take a hit, even if I don't get the speed control right and hit back hard, so I think that's the right Pokemon to bring here. But, I don't know. If I had more time, maybe I'd have some more ideas. I'm just going to start timer for the rest of my games in this video. As we see, there are 2 fire types leading, maybe a little concerned about the Corviknight. It is Terra Water, but no need to go crazy with that right away. As I don't have Protect on Corviknight. You know, I knew that, but I hadn't really processed it. Okay. Well, actually, maybe I should have brought in Indeedee just to get the Psychic Seed. Although, it would just be another boost for the Power Trip. I mean, it's mostly special offense on this team. Okay, I'm just going to Heat Wave and Bulk Up. They can fake Corviknight out if they want. They don't. Okay. Get the Bulk Up. Knockoff's still doing a fair bit with the Incineroar Intimidated. Corviknight can, of course, heal itself with Roost. I might want to consider going for the Terra Water. I don't know if either of these has a fire attack. Although I guess it's probably pretty safe to just scout that with Follow Me this turn and get another Bulk Up. I don't think either of these Pokemon is doing too much to Magmar right now. Okay, we see the Flare Blitz from the Incineroar, and perhaps more importantly, they have taunted Magmar, so I can't click Follow Me or Helping Hand this next turn. I could switch, but I don't think I want to, so I'll just click Heat Wave. It doesn't accomplish all that much, but it's a move. And I will go for the Terra Water here, and let's try a Power Trip into the Talonflame. It's at 100 base power now. They show Will-O-Wisp on the Talonflame. I was afraid they might have that, but I didn't cover for it. Corviknight might still put in some work. It's still hard for them to remove right now. Probably want to be thinking about a Roost here. Yeah, I don't think I necessarily mind playing a slow, grindy game with Corviknight, as long as it's hard for them to remove. The burn is a problem, but it might just slow me down and not actually cost me the game. Magmar taking the double target there. They feel like they can ignore the Corviknight, I guess. We do get the KO on Talonflame as their Tailwind ends, so they won't get that back up. And yeah, just keeping Corviknight healthy. It is a hard Pokemon for at least most of their team to remove after the Water Terra. And actually, this is a pretty... You know, this is not an uncommon composition right now. I don't know if this exact team is common, but you see a lot like it these days. So, Terra Water Corviknight really showing its worth already as... Yeah, I don't really know what the opponent's matchup into it is. Even with the burn, I feel like it might be able to just grind its way through this game. I'll just keep Ninetales in and take the free switch into... Or Magmar, excuse me. And take the free switch into something else when Magmar goes down. And I could just keep setting up Corviknight, I think. There is the risk that it gets frozen, but... Oh, okay, they had the freeze dry, so that's their Corviknight matchup. Yeah, okay, so I should have taken the KO on Ninetales there, assuming Corviknight could KO, but I think it probably could. However, either one of these Pokemon is a threat to Ninetales, right? It's gonna drop to something. I'll go Sneasler and I'll Dire Claw that slot. If they switch Kingambit in, good for them, but Feels pretty safe to just go for that here, and I'll click Roost. Ah, okay, it's Terra Ghost Ninetales. Still drops to the Dire Claw, though. Sneasler will take the knockoff, that's fine. I don't actually know whether that gives me Unburden. But I don't necessarily care, because Amoonguss is their last Pokemon, and Amoonguss is not going to win this game. We can just close combat Incineroar here, and... I can just set up with Corviknight forever, really. Oh, okay, fair enough. Didn't cover for that, so it did get me. But Excadrill will still win this game, I think. And if it doesn't, then Corviknight will still win this game. I mean, yeah, the burn on Corviknight has slowed it down a lot, but... that's all it's done. Can I even Earthquake next to my own Corviknight here? I'm just going to do it. Excadrill will be faster, so I can Roost after that. But I wouldn't bet at +4 defense that Earthquake is even doing that much to Corviknight. No. We get the KO on Incineroar. They were unable to redirect it, though they didn't try. They went for a Pollen Puff to try to heal it, but... yeah, Amoonguss is never breaking through after this, so... the Will-O-Wisp scared me for a moment, but... it didn't matter. And that's the value of Corviknight right now in this format, I guess. I see why it's starting to get results, culminating so far in this regional win. Here we have some scary ghosts for sure. Maybe this person's been watching my Ghost Month series, where every Thursday in October I use a team built around a ghost type, but I wouldn't bet on that. In any case, Sneasler, Dragapult stuff, they have 4 ghost types. I only kind of gradually realized how many as I glanced at this team. Okay. Well, I mean, Power Trip kind of goes crazy here, but Corviknight is harder to set up in this matchup than it was in the last one. Tyranitar Excadrill can put in some work. Do have to watch out for the Rillaboom, but I do have the Terra Flying Tyranitar. Sneasler's okay here. Doesn't have a dark move, so it's not that good here. I kind of think I'm feeling just Excadrill, Tyranitar lead, Corviknight, and Magmar in the back. As we see them lead Sneasler and Annihilape, so they can potentially get a fake out here. They also can close combat or final gambit with Annihilape, assuming it has a Choice Scarf set, and given that I don't see a Mouse Hold or really any support for a Bulk Up user, I am inclined that way, so I'm going to switch Tyranitar out to Magmar. We actually see the Annihilape switch out, though. They get Rillaboom in, so that'll nerf my Earthquakes. That makes sense. Excadrill avoids the close combat, and of course Excadrill's Sash won't be broken by the Sandstorm because it's a ground and steel type. And I feel pretty safe here. Oh, I don't have a single target ground attack. Honestly, I feel pretty safe to Swords Dance and follow me here. And then we'll see what that Grassy Terrain nerf does. Oh, okay, they fake out the Magmar. And I'm making some basic mistakes here, to be honest, but the team is kind of covering for me to an extent. I'm just gonna get a little bit more recovery this turn, I think. I might have to Terrastallize Magmar, which isn't ideal because I'd like to save the Terra for Tyranitar, but I think it's okay. I mean, Corviknight still beats Rillaboom, even if Tyranitar is put in an awkward position later. So I think the Terra flying on Magmar is worthwhile. I think here I Earthquake. Terra flying, follow me. Then I'll redirect the Grassy Glide so that can't KO Excadrill. Magmar will take a Dire Claw. No status. Huge. Sneasler's gone. Rillaboom doesn't take that much with the Grassy Terrain nerf to Earthquake, but KOing Sneasler is nice. Last turn of Sand. But I can probably pretty safely follow me again and go for a big Iron Head into something. If it's Scarf Annihilape, it can KO Magmar here, but the good news is Rillaboom's Grassy Glide will go before Annihilape's move. So I should be able to get a big Iron Head into Rillaboom, whatever it goes for here. And it'll just follow me again. They actually switch out to Gholdengo. Okay. Still takes a fair bit. And we see Shadow Claw from the Annihilape. Doesn't KO Magmar. They can switch Rillaboom back in here, but I think Earthquake will still do a lot of damage to their Pokemon. That said, the Sand is gone. I kind of want a Helping Hand, but I think I have to... The Gholdengo actually could be faster than Excadrill. I think I'm just going to follow me. Gholdengo protects. No Rillaboom switch in. Magmar's KO'd, but Excadrill will get off another big Earthquake at +2. Almost KOs Annihilate. I'll get Tyranitar in here. And I think what I want to do is bait the Gholdengo to click Make It Rain. I think Annihilate is choice locked, so I think it's locked into Shadow Claw. I'm going to protect Excadrill, try to get the drop into Gholdengo, even if Gholdengo gets its attack off here, and I'll just click Knock Off into the Gholdengo slot. That feels pretty safe in this position. We do see the Rillaboom switch in. That was certainly another option for them. But that doesn't really enjoy taking the Knock Off. And, I mean... I'll see if I can get an Iron Head into Rillaboom here, and a knockoff into the Annihilate slot. If Gholdengo comes in to try to change Annihilate's move, then maybe I can get rid of that. Rillaboom faking out Excadrill is okay. Excadrill will drop to a Shadow Claw, but I think Tyranitar and Corviknight can win from here. Well, I think I'm mostly depending on Corviknight at this point, but... Well, I mean, the Gholdengo actually could still be a problem. But... the thing is, I still have full HP Tyranitar. It would be nice if I could Terrasilize it here, but I can't. I'm just going to bulk up, and that'll boost the Power Trip if I need that to deal with Gholdengo. And I'll go for a knockoff into Gholdengo here. Oh, Terra Dark. Okay, I can lose to that. But they go for a Nasty Plot. It is faster than my Pokemon, though. I guess if they have Thunderbolt, they can beat Corviknight, but... one way to find out, I'm just going to click a Brave Bird into Gholdengo, and since Tyranitar can't protect, honestly might as well just Rock Slide, but I think Tyranitar is going to get KO'd first thing this turn. As, yeah, Rillaboom will finish it off with the Grassy Glide. Shadow Ball from the Gholdengo, doesn't KO Corviknight. We get the Brave Bird KO, take the recoil, but I think that's fine. I don't think Rillaboom has anything to seriously threaten Corviknight here. I will slow it down and click Roost. As, yep, we take that Wood Hammer. Crit even wouldn't have KO'd. And honestly, I was probably just going to click Roost again, but I don't need to because they forfeit. So, some sloppy plays from me here and there, but the Corviknight is just so resilient into so much of this meta that it's been able to cover me really well so far. Alright, here we get... this is an interesting kind of sun-sand room team. I don't necessarily know what the vision is for this one. I mean, you got Tyranitar and Garchomp, I understand. And then I guess you got a Sunroom mode with Lilligant, Torkoal, Blood Moon, Ursaluna. Although the only Trick Room setter is Mimikyu. Not that it's a bad one. But it feels like this team has two very distinct modes, and I don't necessarily understand one of them. However, I think I'm good to lead Sneasler here, and if I can cheese the Mimikyu in the lead slot, that's pretty cool. And then I think I can bring, like... well, okay. I'm thinking either Magmar or Indeedee in the other lead slot. The benefit of Indeedee is that it can threaten big damage after a Dire Claw, so depending on their lead, then this could just break the game wide open for me. It might be safer to lead Magmar. I'll definitely bring Tyranitar in the back so I can turn off their Sun if need be. This is kind of tricky, actually. I want to bring every Pokemon that I have, and I can't do that. Okay, I'm going to leave Magmar behind, and that might be a mistake. I feel like Magmar is good in this matchup, but it doesn't do much damage. And something had to give, right? Okay, it's Lilligant, Garchomp lead. Excuse me. I'm just going to fake out into Lilligant and click Expanding Force. I don't see a ton of downside to that play here. They can switch Tyranitar in if they want. But then, of course, they have Tyranitar against Sneasler. And so far, we haven't seen their Trick Room setter. It is no Protect Sneasler, though, so it's possible they get me with, like, a Terra Flying Tyranitar or something. Although then that of course, turns off its Psychic Immunity. Okay, we see the Torkoal, so the Lilligant will... Oh, I clicked Fake Out in my own Psychic Terrain. Yeah, like I said, I'm making some sloppy plays sometimes this video. I used to do that all the time in Sword and Shield, and I guess I haven't completely broken the habit. Well, hey, let's see if Sneasler wakes up. Maybe I'll have some luck here. And I kind of like Expanding Force to just finish off the Torkoal. Ah, it has Protect. Okay. If Sneasler wakes up... No. Okay, so kind of threw Indeedee away there, but I was betting it all on the first turn wake. Wait. I miscounted. That wasn't even the first turn. That would have had to be a turn 0 wake, which is impossible. I hope somebody's enjoying this at my expense. Honestly, I don't hate just clicking Coaching here, but no, I want Sneasler to do damage. Of course, that's contingent on it waking up. Oh, we see the Flying Tyranitar. Coaching actually would have been pretty nice here, but Sneasler stays asleep anyway. And they KO my Tyranitar, and I think my Pokemon are getting removed too quickly here. Although, actually, they're down to just Tyranitar and Garchomp now, so Corviknight in the back might be able to win this. Although, again, it'll help a lot if Sneasler wakes up. So, fingers crossed. Come on, Sneasler. Get that Dire Claw into Tyranitar. And we definitely click Bulk Up with Corviknight here. Sneasler wakes up. Lands the Dire Claw. Maybe I should have gone Flying Sneasler to cover for that. I'm pretty sure I don't need to Terrasilize Corviknight. Although I guess it's possible that the Garchomp will show a Fire attack. They're not usually running them these days, but you never know on ladder. But I think I'm pretty safe to just set up here and click Power Trip when I feel ready. And once again, Corviknight bailing me out after some misplays, showing why this Pokemon is looking so successful right now. I mean, it's been putting in incredible work this whole video so far. They Scale Shot, lower their own defense, and don't even do much damage. And so I think +2, 120 Power Trip into -1 defense. I'm willing to just see what that does. -2 defense, actually, as they Scale Shot again. Getting a lot of hits, but to what end? Oh, the Power Trip doesn't quite KO, but we can just click another one here. As we see that it's... Actually, I don't know whether Power Trip is a contact move. It might not be Sandvale Garchomp. But either way, yeah, they can Scale Shot again. But Power Trip gets the KO. And Corviknight once again cleans up an endgame that I didn't position super well, but it doesn't matter because it just shuts down so much of the format, at least from what I'm seeing in this laddering session so far. And, of course, the fast offensive teammates are able to put in enough work beforehand, you know, get at least a couple of KOs, and then Corviknight can get into position to clean up. So, there have been a couple times recently that I've used tournament-winning teams and I couldn't figure them out very well. This team I'm loving so far, and I don't think I understand it at a high level necessarily, but yeah, it's been excellent so far this session. As here we see a Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Porygon 2. This is an interesting mix of Trick Room, Balance, and Sneasler offense. I do like how people are kind of mixing and matching different compositions on the ladder here. Maybe finding some more multi-layered teams that are fun to use and resilient into a pretty diverse and difficult meta. I kind of like Indeedee here. It threatens a few of these Pokemon offensively right off the bat. I don't think it's the worst idea to lead it with Sneasler. I could also lead it with Corviknight. Yeah, actually, let's just get Corviknight in, get the Psychic Seed boost, and just try to grind out another game. We've seen what late-game Corviknight can do, but if early-game Corviknight can just grind through this one, that'll be a lot of fun, I think. And I'll bring Sneasler, and I think I'll bring Excadrill. Just get some damage and maybe some Dire Claw variants in the back. Support the Corviknight. As we see, Incineroar and Porygon 2 leading for them. They trace the Mirror Armor, which is kind of funny, but completely fine so far. What I don't love is having Indeedee in here against the Incineroar, but I do think I'm going to just Expanding Force anyway. Actually, you know what I can do? I can trick the Porygon 2. I don't know if that's the best play here, but Expanding Force is limited value into the Dark-type Incineroar, and Trick into Porygon 2 is definitely a fun play, so let's go for it. And just try to start setting up with Corviknight. They do fake it out, which of course they can do because it's a flying type, so it's not affected by the terrain. And we lock Porygon 2 into Trick Room. That effectively means they have to switch it out here, unless they want to reverse their own Trick Room. I'm just going to Expanding Force. It hits most of these Pokemon hard, and of course, Dragapult is immune to Terra Blast. Maybe Incineroar knocks out Indeedee first. It's Terra Psychic, there's not much I can do about that. Let's just hope that it doesn't. And I'll try again to get the bulk up. Maybe I should be going for the Terra... Okay, the KO Indeedee. Maybe I should be going for the Terra Water in case they have Flare Blitz on Incineroar, but not all of them run Flare Blitz, and I don't especially want to make Corviknight... You know, right now Corviknight is immune to Earth Power and it resists Blood Moon and Hyper Voice, so I don't want to weaken that matchup if I can avoid it. Bring Excadrill in. I can Protect here, and then its Focus Sash might enable it to do something next turn. I'm just going to try to keep setting up with Corviknight. I mean, my game plan here, it's not ideal that they got the Trick Room up, but my game plan here is basically just try to win with Corviknight. And so far that game plan is intact. Yeah. I'll click Earthquake here. I don't know if they'll let Excadrill get the Earthquake off, but it'll be pretty cool if they do. And honestly, let's just get another bulk up. Oh, wait, does that force me out? No, okay. I wasn't 100% sure about that interaction, but it doesn't reverse the whole parting shot, it only reverses the stat drop, so that makes sense. Corviknight, of course, not taking the parting shot drop, but they do get to pivot to Amoonguss. And of course, Corviknight doesn't have Protect, so they're free to put it to sleep here, but they don't really have an offensive threat into it. And so I'll Protect Excadrill here. This will get me out of the Trick Room. They can bring Incineroar in to fake Excadrill out, but it's still possible, depending on how they play this, that I get an attack off. And I'll click Brave Bird into Amoonguss. They'll probably put Corviknight to sleep. But like I said, I think they don't have much of an offensive threat into Corviknight that I can see right now. Incineroar's not on the field, so I can get the Earthquake off. And Corviknight, I think, is pretty free to just sit tight until it wakes up. I'll click Power Trip into Amoonguss to avoid Brave Bird recoil. Here's the Scarf Porygon 2. Okay, I saw the Vacuum Wave earlier and I kind of ignored it. That's my bad, but there wasn't a whole lot I could do to keep Excadrill alive at that point. I didn't want to switch Sneasler in to take it. I suppose I could have, because Sneasler does resist the Vacuum Wave. It's not like it's going to one-shot, but... And actually, I think the Porygon 2 might be the biggest threat right now. It doesn't have its Eviolite, of course. Honestly, let's just click Close Combat into Porygon 2. And Power Trip as well. Sneasler will take the Intimidate. Nothing I can do about that at this point. Oh, well, except that the White Herb covers for that. And it gives me Unburden. So Sneasler, maybe it was always going before Scarf Porygon 2. I don't know that calculation, but certainly gets to one-shot it there. They never get Trick Room back up, so Sneasler remains a pretty strong offensive threat. Of course, it doesn't have Protect. And I don't think I ever used the Terra Water on Corviknight at this point, so I think I'm going to Terra Flying and try to Close Combat Incineroar. They can fake Sneasler out, but then if they try to Earth Power it, they're going into an immunity, of course. And I'll just go for Brave Bird into Incineroar as well. Okay, they do fake Sneasler out. Do they Earth Power it? No, Blood Moon. Okay, so they get rid of Sneasler here, but Incineroar is the only Pokemon that I feel like could still offensively threaten Corviknight, and the fact that it hasn't done that, I'm just going to click Power Trip to avoid recoil. I don't think... I think we would have seen Flare Blitz by now if they had it. But if I remove Incineroar here, then I definitely feel pretty good about this endgame. Ursaluna goes for the Terra Normal Hyper Voice, doesn't do too much. I'm going to have to slow things down a bit because I think I would click Roost here. And that means I probably take a Blood Moon and a Spore. And actually, if they get some crits and a lot of sleep turns, maybe they can still beat Corviknight in this endgame. Yeah, I don't like how much that Blood Moon did. Maybe I did need to just KO Ursaluna there. I might have just thrown, but Hopefully I get bailed out by the sleep turns. Of course, they can't click Blood Moon right now, so that's something. Hyper Voice we've seen already doesn't do too much. But I'll feel a lot better if I land this power trip here. Yeah, I think I needed to attack instead of roosting on that one turn. I've talked a lot about slowing it down and playing a grindier kind of game I actually do think I need to roost. No. I can't. Just have to hope this KOs. I talked a lot about slowing it down and then playing a grindier game with Corviknight in this video, but I overdid it on that turn. And that might cost me this game. Oh, they have the Rage Powder too. And I lose to Blood Moon? No, because they couldn't click it that turn. But now I have to roost. And I still can win this, but yeah, my position has gotten a lot worse. Also, they can Earth Power me here, because this is the most obvious roost in the world. Or they can just do that. Okay, yeah, so I needed to just attack on that one turn instead of roosting. My whole game plan was to grind through this with Corviknight, and I think I was set up to do that, although I'm not sure that I could have broken Ursaluna in the end. But I definitely played too passively in the end game there. But that's player error, not team error. The team is still great. We got a Chinchino here. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Volcarona, Goldango, Primarina, Palmet, Salamence. I feel like the Salamence or maybe the Volcarona sets Tailwind, and then they just try to have a balanced offense. I don't know who wants to take an Expanding Force on this team, though. I mean, I guess Goldango. But in that case, I could lead, like, Indeedee Tyranitar. Can I lead Indeedee Tyranitar? That's actually not bad, I think, yeah. It'll stop Fake Out from Palmet with the Psychic Surge. Expanding Force hits most of these hard. Rock Slide kind of picks up the rest. Do Terra Flying Tyranitar if I need to. I'll bring Excadrill. And maybe we give the Corviknight a rest this time. I think we can give Corviknight a rest and bring Magmar or Sneasler. And I think it's going to be Magmar. That feels more responsible here. Although it's a little hard to leave Sneasler on the bench. So we do see Primarina Goldango. I'm just going to click Expanding Force right away and Terra Flying knockoff into Goldango. Okay, Goldango protects. But I mean, let's do that again. I don't think anybody wants to switch in on the knockoff. Some Pokemon can more easily than others, but nobody likes losing their item. Terra Dragon Goldango, but that of course means it'll take more from the Expanding Force. I see them make it rain. That'll KO Indeedee, but yeah, not Tyranitar. Knockoff KO's back, so that's two other Pokemon gone already. I'll get Excadrill in here. I can even click Earthquake next to Flying Tyranitar. We see Palmet and Salamence. Salamence is actually a problem in this endgame, but of course they can't Fake Out Excadrill, so I'll just Earthquake, try to pick up the Palmet, and Rock Slide. Yeah, does no damage to those two, but knocks Palmet down to its Sash, so that means the Sand Chip will finish it off. They do knock Excadrill down to its Sash. Do they KO? No, they go for an Air Slash into Tyranitar, which does get the flinch, but that means Excadrill survives the turn, and I was thinking about switching it out to reset the Intimidate drop, but I don't want to lose Sand Rush. And I have 3 Pokemon. I think I can win this, so I'm just going to Iron Head and Rock Slide. Salamence does KO Tyranitar there, but I think it's locked into Air Slash. If you're running Air Slash, you probably have like specs. In any case, we haven't seen it try a spread attack. I wouldn't bet that it has one, so I feel like I can just well, yeah, I was going to click Swords Dance and Follow Me, but I think they saw that coming. They forfeited. So there we go. Slightly different game plan there. Maybe a little rough around the edges, but paying off. We see a Hisuian Electrode on this team. More Dragapult Sneasler stuff, of course. Firewater Grass. The Hisuian Arcanine is a little unusual, but hey, I've tried that Pokemon recently. The Hisuian Electrode is something else. I kind of like Indeedee here, although they can change the terrain, which is a bit of an issue for it. The Arcanine's Intimidate is a bit of an issue for an Excadrill Tyranitar mode. I can bring Corviknight, the Mirror Armor, but then that kind of loses to Electrode, of all things. I could do Magmar with somebody. Let's do Excadrill, Tyranitar, Magmar, Sneasler, and then figure it out. I don't know that leading with the Sand Bros right off the bat is the best call, although I don't see anyone here right now who takes an Earthquake very well. So that's something. They can switch Rillaboom in if they want, but if I'm lucky, I get a Terra Flying Blast into it, and even if I don't, if they switch here, they knock Excadrill down to its Sash, but they don't get the KO. They don't switch, so Earthquake will hit both Pokemon pretty hard. They can KO Excadrill here, but Primarina is not going to enjoy this Terra Blast either. There's the Rillaboom. They do KO Excadrill, but that doesn't do too much to Tyranitar after the Terra, and we actually don't KO Primarina with the Terra Blast. But it is low. I feel like I could bring Sneasler in here. Fake out Primarina. Sneasler will get the fake out off before Rillaboom, and then Rillaboom maybe can high horsepower Sneasler if it has that, otherwise it doesn't do too much here. So that's how I play around their flinch this turn, and I'll try to Terra Blast Rillaboom. And of course I'm looking for a Dire Claw into Primarina next turn if they let me. Terra Fire Rillaboom. Does show the high horsepower. Okay, well. Sometimes you guess wrong. Got Magmar here. Actually, Magmar's kind of bad here, isn't it? I'm going to Protect and Rock Slide and try to remove this Primarina before I start clicking Follow Me or Helping Hand. Removing the Rillaboom would also be good because of the high horsepower. We do get both KOs. But we know they have Dragapult in the back. What's the last Pokemon? Arcanine. Okay, but it doesn't have Intimidate. But it probably does have Rock Slide. And I think I just lose to that, don't I? Might be worth it to click Follow Me anyway to redirect the Dragapult's move. And then, of course, they can miss a Rock Slide into Tyranitar, or they can... I mean, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't KO. It probably does. So I do think Follow Me is still worth it. But yeah, once I saw the Arcanine, I was pretty sure I wasn't winning this one. And so it is. Actually pretty close. Rock Slide crit on Arcanine there would have won, but yeah, the way they positioned that in the end, with the Pokemon I had, there wasn't much I could do. I guess letting Sneasler drop to the high horsepower was the biggest problem. Maybe it would have been safer to sack Magmar there, or potentially sack Magmar, and have Sneasler in the end game. I feel like that was probably the better way to play that, yeah. But live and learn. We see our second Mimikyu of the session. We are, of course, getting closer to Halloween here in what I would consider late October. Although someone let the weather know because it was hot today, and not a fan of that. Not a hot weather guy. So enough of that, please. It's late October. But anyway, maybe it's because it's almost Halloween that we're seeing all these Mimikyu. That's kind of fun. Obviously, I think that's fun. I'm doing my whole Ghost Month thing. Corviknight's pretty good here. Heard me say that one before, and I think it holds up. The Blaziken is an issue before Terra Water, but I could probably do something about that. Honestly, what is stopping me if I lead like Indeedee Corviknight here and bring Excadrill and Tyranitar in the back? Okay, they lead Sneasler Blaziken. Don't especially want to see Blaziken right away, especially because I think it'll probably protect this turn, right? But I'm just going to Expanding Force and switch to Tyranitar. And if I break a Sash on, say, Sneasler... Okay, protects. But even so, if it has a Sash, then it's not going to like that Sand Chip. Tyranitar gets in safely against the two fighting types. You love to see it. I'm going to Terra and Rock Slide. Might as well catch whatever switches in. If they switch Mimikyu in, of course, then I can potentially KO it through its disguise here. Although, actually, I don't think the Rock Slide is going to do that much, but Chip is to anything, but Chip is Chip. Okay, Terra Flying Sneasler. Takes the Expanding Force, but Power Claw goes into a DD, KOs. Does not take the Rock Slide. That's what I want to see here, because I don't know what on this team is beating Corviknight at this point. I'm actually just going to bring Excadrill in. Try to fire off some more damage, and then I should be able to win with Corviknight in the end game. Regardless, just going to click Earthquake and Terra Blast into Annihilate. Because Annihilate is at least a little more threatening than Garchomp. Actually, with the way I'm setting up its Rage Fist, I definitely want to get rid of it here. Doesn't quite KO, but it'll take Sand Chip and then another Earthquake. Yeah. And I might not even need to bring Corviknight in at this point, although Annihilate protecting here. But Garchomp just going for the Breaking Swipe. I mean, sure, that weakens my Pokemon, but it's not enough damage. Coming out quickly enough. I bet this Earthquake still KOs Annihilate, and if not, there's still the Terra Blast. Yeah. Terra Blast will KO Garchomp, and then I'm pretty sure Corviknight in the back would win this anyway, but didn't even need to bring it in. And another team that Corviknight just eats for breakfast, but as it turned out, so did its teammates. I keep saying it, and I feel like I don't have any better insight than this, but you can see the meta call that Nils Dunlop made here and how it can pay off. Okay, I haven't seen a team like this in a little while. I don't know if I've seen a team exactly like this one ever, but a lot of Blood Moon Ursaluna today, when I kind of felt like the original Ursaluna was the one having a moment. But maybe there's been some meta development that I don't know about. Or maybe I shouldn't read too much into like mid-low ladder during the hour in which I happen to be playing right now. Best of one at that. Okay, time to start thinking about this matchup. Who on this team is beating Corviknight? Maybe a Goldango, but yeah, maybe like a Thunderbolt Goldango, but I think that's about it. This is what I love about this team. I look at the opposing team, and there was like one matchup so far where I didn't want to bring Corviknight, but otherwise I look at it, I'm like, who beats Corviknight? And then just figure out how to remove that Pokemon, you know? I'm actually going to lead Excadrill Tyranitar. Try to pressure Goldango early if they lead with it. Pressure Clefable early so that it can't just redirect attacks away from Goldango. I will certainly bring Corviknight in the back. Maybe I want the Sneasler here. Maybe I want Magmar here. I'm going to bring Magmar. Sneasler is hard to position if they get Trick Room up, and it sure looks like they're going to go for it. But again, I think this is okay because they can click Follow Me if they want. I want to remove the Clefable. That's one of the pieces that I think could potentially be trouble for Corviknight in the late game. So I'll just do Iron Head into Clefable and Rock Slide. Actually takes that Iron Head pretty well. But with Magic Guard too. Wait, it has Magic Guard? Oh, maybe it does Safety Goggles. It probably has Safety Goggles, not Magic Guard. They probably just run Safety Goggles. Okay, but now what? You know what? I'm gonna click Earthquake and Terra Flying Tyranitar and knock off the Farigiraf slot. What do you do here? What's the threat into Excadrill? Yeah, exactly. They do redirect the knockoff, but again, I want to KO Clefable. I was actually prioritizing that. Farigiraf takes the Earthquake pretty well, but I'm not afraid of Farigiraf with this team that I have here. I don't care that much about KOing it. I'll protect Excadrill and just low kick Ursaluna. They can't terrestrialize it. Even if it is Terra Ghost, they won't get to show me. Psychic Noise, that's fine. AV Tyranitar takes that pretty well. Blood Moon Ursaluna doesn't take that low kick so well. Honestly, I might as well sack Magmar instead of Excadrill. The Blood Moon Tyranitar, okay, KOs. That's not ideal, but it's the last turn of Trick Room already, and who is beating Excadrill? Well, I'll get it back in, I'll protect both Pokemon. How do they beat Excadrill after this? Did they bring Flamigo? I haven't seen it yet. Doesn't play super nicely in Trick Room, admittedly, but okay, I mean, just follow me and Ironhead Ursaluna. Oh, okay, it's the Incineroar in the back. They get their Trick Room back up. But you know what? I'm ready to just go to the Corviknight endgame, I think. I'm just going to pick Helping Hand and Earthquake. Well, next turn, after I protect around a possible Fake Out. Yeah. Okay, now I'll just Helping Hand and Earthquake. Help them take out my own team. Okay, so much for that. Well, I've talked a lot about Corviknight. I sure hope it can win this one in the back. We'll bulk up. If they have Flare Blitz, they'll probably show me here, and I'll be sad. They have Flare Blitz. Okay, that was how they beat Corviknight. Man, I talked a lot this game, and it blew up on me, but so it is sometimes. But, like I often say with these tournament-winning teams, if it were open team sheets, I'd know they had Flare Blitz, right? If it were open team sheets, I'd know whether the Goldango has Thunderbolt. I would know that the Rillaboom has high horsepower. A powerful team like this, sure, opponents can turn things around on you in best of one, but this team has felt really solid. I feel like, you know, Corviknight's clicking Power Trip. I feel like I've been on a Power Trip using this team. I've had confidence in it that I haven't had with someone else's team that I've tried out in a while now. And again, I know all these little tricks that people have if I'm playing open team sheets. So it's not hard to see how this team, also with a better player than me piloting it, won a regional. But I definitely recommend checking it out. Again, I don't have the EV spreads. I just made up my own for this video, but this is a really fun team in this meta right now, as I think I've just demonstrated. It's the team that I've enjoyed most from another player in a little bit now, and yeah, definitely give it a try if you want. It won a regional for a reason. With that said, I mean, lots more competitions coming up. There'll be lots more teams to use in future videos, but for now, see you next time.